Hello and welcome. You're watching another episode of NewsX Deepdive with me, Vineet Malhotra. The terror attack near Delhi's iconic Red Fort has raised many concerns and questions. One of the core issues at the center of the probe is the logistical network behind the terror module unearthed by the police and intelligence personnel in Faridabad. Well, the incident has drawn attention to how increasingly sophisticated digital and communications tools are being used to coordinate such incidents. The key face behind the deadly explosion is Umar Muhammad, the doctor-turned-suicide bomber, part of the Faridabad terror module. Believed to be linked to the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group, Umar and his radical doctors group use the popular messaging app Telegram. For millions of users across the world, Telegram is like any other secure social media or messaging app. But the encrypted application, which positions itself as a privacy-focused, secure messaging platform, provides a safe haven for many indulging in criminal activities, becoming a melting pot of terror, disinformation, and inciting activities. Founded in 2013 by Russian-born billionaire Pavel Durov and his brother Nikolai, the messaging app's ease of use, its public channels, and most importantly, its ability to encrypt private conversations have fueled its global appeal over the years. As of March 2025, Telegram has more than 1 billion monthly active users, with India forming its biggest user base. Telegram is registered as a company in the British Virgin Islands and an LLC in Dubai. It does not disclose where it rents offices or which legal entities it uses to rent them, citing the need to shelter the team from unnecessary influence and protect users from governmental data requests. Pavel Durov left Russia in 2014 after resisting government pressure and is said to be moving from country to country with a small group of computer programmers consisting of 15 core members. While the app has provided space for privacy, the less moderated space has also enabled terrorist groups such as Islamic State and Al-Qaeda to shift their communications on it and use it for recruiting new members, fundraising, planning, and inciting violence outside detection or interference from law enforcement. In 2015, when these concerns were raised at a TechCrunch conference, Telegram founder Pavel Durov asserted that, and I quote, "The right for privacy is more important to Telegram than our fear of bad things happening, like terrorism." Now, the Delhi terror attack too has thrown light upon the use of Telegram as a terror tool. And after the Faridabad terror module was caught, the Jammu and Kashmir police unveiled a network of highly qualified and highly radicalized terrorists who, as per cops, were likely getting instructions from across the border and affiliated with terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed. Following the arrest of Dr. Muzammil Shakil, police uncovered chats with Jaish terror handlers on Telegram. In fact, the radicalization of the arrested doctors has been traced to two Telegram groups. The groups Farzane Darul Uloom from Deoband and Umar bin Khattab, run by Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed operative, are believed to have played a key role in the doctors' radicalization. Dr. Umar and Imam Irfan Ahmed Vaga, the cleric from Shopian believed to be behind the radicalization of the arrested doctors, are believed to have started their interaction through one of these groups. Another key to the puzzle has turned out to be an encrypted messaging platform called Session. Investigation suggests that the two accused doctors, Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Umar, use Session to communicate with their handlers. Unlike conventional apps, Session does not require a mobile number for registration and stores no chat metadata, making it virtually impossible for investigators to trace messages or identify users. During interrogation, Dr. Muzammil reportedly told investigators that in the early phase of the association with JEM, he communicated with a handler using the alias Abu Qasa. The handler operated a virtual number registered in Turkey, and while initial exchanges took place on WhatsApp, the handler later directed him to switch to Session for greater secrecy and to ensure that their chats remained undetectable. Another platform used by the accused was the messaging app Signal. The open source encrypted messaging service stores the encryption keys on the devices and not on servers. Signal had recently made headlines after it emerged that it had been used to discuss war plans at the highest levels in the US government. Now, further investigation has revealed how Dr. Umar had reportedly created a group on the Signal app with 2 to 4 members to coordinate activities. Investigators also believe that Umar formed the group after a money dispute with Dr. Muzammil. The encrypted app was used by Umar and his group to coordinate movement, funding and planning for these attacks. As the probe intensifies, investigations have revealed a deep web of how the plotters appear to have used digital communication on platforms and encrypted apps to coordinate. These apps allowed the conspirators to plan across geography, plan logistics, mobilize funds and share instructions, all with a lower risk of immediate detection. Investigators believe that the module is transnational, with such applications providing them with significant backing. What we see emerging in the Red Fort blast case is what investigators have labeled as a hybrid model of terrorist mobilization, combining encrypted digital communications such as Signal and Telegram for planning and coordination with physical logistics like vehicles, explosives, parking, transit routes, all tracked digitally via surveillance networks. Investigators are now racing to follow the digital breadcrumbs, decode the app, the network, and map the logistical chain. Well, we're going to talk about this with Mr. Ritesh Bhatia, who is a cyber security expert. Ritesh, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with NewsX. You know what struck me as something very offensive by the creator of Telegram is the fact that he says that right to privacy is more important than figuring out what terrorists are doing. Perhaps this is a gentleman who has not been plagued or affected by terrorists the way India has been, the way a number of other countries have also been affected. If we are allowing this app to work in India, don't you think there needs to be a caveat that they should allow us to check the digital and the tech trail whenever necessary?
Absolutely, well, if you've seen that this is not the first time that this has happened over here. I mean, on Telegram as such. If you see the Belarus attacks, the France one, and so many other ones also that have taken place earlier also. It's always been this particular app. It's absolutely a notorious app, and if you see, it's actually called as the dark web on your mobile device as such, because it's just not only for the terrorists as such who are just using it. It's also for disinformation, misinformation, propaganda, child sexual abuse material, drug selling, weapon selling, and a lot more. And that's the reason most of us, people from the cyber community, call it as like the dark web on your mobile device. And if you see, yes, this person has the audacity to say that that privacy is more important than terrorism also. This is exactly what he said in one of the conferences as such. And with so many cases happening, and especially definitely during the election times also, we have seen the usage is massive as such. And especially at these points of time, when we had these blasts, and even including earlier times during Pulwama time, Pahalgam time, I think it's very important that we bring down this particular app. It has done well. I know it gives you a lot more features as compared to the existing apps as such, which is primarily WhatsApp over here. There are much more conveniences as such. But when you put privacy on top, on the topmost layer, and then when you don't bother about the security of humans, when you don't bother about the security of the children, then I don't think so, privacy really matters at that point of time. Because the privacy, I would rather say the value of the human lives, the value of these children, whose videos, sexually abusive videos are being circulated, is much more compared to the privacy of Telegram and its such notorious users. Varun.
Ritesh, in light of what's happened here, what do you think the government should do at this point in time? This is obviously an impediment to our security. This is a national security threat, and we should be taking this non-cooperation extremely seriously. There are dime a dozen apps that can be used in India. There are applications which have been made by Indian tech firms. Don't you think they should come to the fore if there is such non-cooperation being shown by an application like Telegram?
See, I think firstly, I'm not in favor of banning. I know you haven't said that as such, but I'm just saying, like, when you are asking me what could be done, definitely we are not looking at banning as a solution. But having worked with a lot many investigators, this is what I've realized, that these people don't cooperate at all. Whenever you're asking for any kind of metadata, they say we don't store any metadata. You ask them any such kind of logs or trails, they will completely refuse as such. So I think some way even we could restrict them as such over here in India. And I'm not saying in terms of by just banning, but some sort of things. I'm sure with the government we can come up with a lot many suggestions as to what we could do as such. We also know where the Telegram servers are located. Probably you can just make it slow down, its notifications gets delayed, like you were mentioning about session app, which has also been used. Now why did session app, why hasn't it been able to make up to the mark as such? Because there is a lot of, like, it's kind of delayed. The notifications don't come instantly the way it comes on your Telegram or the way it comes up on your WhatsApp. So things like that, and because of that, session has not been able to take it up that well. So similar things could be done over here. You just slow them down, you restrict it on the Play Store. Certain things could be done. I mean, these are just very vague ideas, but once the experts can just sit together and decide, okay, what is that we have, what is all that we can do, probably then what will happen, then people will start moving on to different apps as such, or they may come back to WhatsApp, or they may switch to the new one, Authority. They can go on to Signal. But again, with the Indian homegrown apps that you're talking about, firstly, they need to provide us those same kind of the user interface, the usability, the privacy, the security, which the current ones are doing. Today, if a telecom operator has to come and launch, a new circle over here, a new telecom company over here, he can't say that, okay, I will be just giving you 2G or 3G network.
All
So
right.
in the era of 4G and 5G network, he needs to come up with something. At least he needs to match that, or he needs to provide something better. So
Fair
which
enough.
is where the
Fair enough,
homegrown
Ritesh. I appreciate
apps
you
are.
joining us. We've run out of time, unfortunately, but your inputs are extremely valuable. Thank you so much. We take a short break now. Be right back.